Lars' father tried several times, and finally broke free from Leon's hand. He held his painful finger and took a few steps back. However, it seems that he still doesn't know the lesson. He frowned and looked at Leon with an angry expression. He gently rubbed his injured finger and let loose with harsh words for Leon. "How dare you hit me? Do you know who I am?" Lars' father angrily rushed towards Leon, intending to have a fight with him here to vent his anger. Seeing that Lars' father's actions were somewhat off, the other two fathers immediately rushed forward and pulled him back. "Duke, don't be angry for now. The principal is still watching. Don't fight here." Although Lars' father was held back by them, he still wanted to break free from them. He revealed his identity to Leon in an attempt to intimidate him. "I am the Duke of the Crimson Flame Dragon clan. Our leader is Constantine." However, Leon was not afraid of his identity. He hugged himself and pretended he was scared of him. Come on. I'm so scared." Faced with this farce, Roswitha couldn't bear to watch anymore. She walked up and said to Lars' father, "Sir, this is a minor conflict among the children at school. If they are involved in the family status of both parties, it will not benefit you in any way." Roswitha looked at Lars' father with a serious expression and expressed her opinion on the matter. "I believe that St. Hiss Academy will make a fair judgment, regardless of the outcome of the Academy's handling. We are willing to accept it." Then, she turned her head and looked confidently at Vice Principal Wilson. After all, the final outcome of this fight still needs to be judged by the Vice Principal. Relying solely on fights between parents or involving the status of both sides still cannot lead to a good outcome. Vice Principal Wilson smiled and nodded with satisfaction. He agreed with her view. Silver Dragon Clan's queen truly has a grand vision. He looked at Lars' father, who was still angry, and gave him the final warning. "Lars' dad, if you insist on causing trouble in school and leading to the escalation of the situation, we can only cancel your son's student enrollment record." Hearing this, Lars' father froze. He stopped struggling and slowly calmed down. His anger instantly half gone. Lars also doesn't want to be unable to go to school because of his father's continued misconduct. He walked forward and grabbed his father's hem. He lifted his head with a somewhat aggrieved expression to persuade his father. "Dad, forget it. I still want to continue my studies at school." Upon hearing what Lars said to him, Lars' father hesitated a bit. He gradually restrained his unreasonable attitude and temporarily calmed down. He closed his eyes, pretended to cough a few times in an attempt to cover up the awkward scene just now, and calmly said to the vice principal, "I just lost my composure. We also accept the ideas of the academy." However, Lars' father still seems to hold a dissatisfied attitude towards this matter. He looked at Leon and Roswitha standing not far away with angry eyes, and made a small plan in his heart. "I'll step back for now. But once we're out of school, we'll see who has the last laugh." Since both parents have calmed down, Vice Principal Wilson can also announce the outcome of the fight incident here. Okay, in this incident, Lars is at fault first, while Noah acts in self-defense, though with excessive force. So, He turned his head to look at Noah first, and announced the outcome of his handling of her. Noah will go back to receive oral education from her homeroom teacher, and seriously reflect on her behavior this time. Noah lightly clenched her small fist, and looked at him with some surprise. She didn't expect her punishment result to be less severe. Then, he looked at Lar and his other 2 classmates. Lar and 2 other classmates each write a self-criticism and submit it to the homeroom teacher. In addition, you are also responsible for classroom hygiene for a week. The above is the final processing result. Lar and his classmates sadly lowered their heads and silently accepted the punishment result. The sunlight outside the window seemed to brighten up the office a bit, as if it was also satisfied with the outcome of this incident. After the incident was resolved, Leon and Roswitha left the office with Noah. In the hallway, Noah turned around and waved goodbye to them. "Well, I'll go back to the classroom first." Roswitha nodded, indicating that she could leave here first. Leon and Roswitha stood together, watching her leave the hallway. At this moment, Leon seemed to have remembered something. He looked at Noah's back and waved at her, reminding her to remember the method he had taught her. If they dare to bully you again, you must kick their knees first. Noah glanced back at Leon. Though she didn't say anything, she nodded, indicating that she would keep his advice in mind. At that moment, Vice Principal Wilson suddenly appeared behind Leon. He walked forward and suddenly said to Leon, "Mr. Leon." Leon was so scared by him that he shouted out loud, "Eh?" His face doesn't look very good. Leon turned his head to Vice Principal Wilson with a smile on his face and said nervously to him, "Vice Principal Wilson, do you have anything else?" Just now he loudly reminded Noah to remember his advice. And as the vice principal, Wilson may not want to hear comments like bullying other dragons. He is worried that what he just said may have been heard by the vice principal. He thought nervously, "He probably didn't hear what I just said, right?" However, the vice principal didn't seem to notice what Leon said. He asked Leon another question with a serious expression. "Although we have only met a few times, I have always had a question. You've never let your tail show." Upon hearing the vice principal's words, Leon's mood became even more tense. He was worried that, because he didn't show his tail, the vice principal began to doubt his identity. He opened his mouth to explain, but suddenly couldn't come up with a reason. He silently said in his heart, "Did he discover my identity?" Vice Principal Wilson smiled and looked at Leon, saying the next words, "I can't see which noble dragon clan you come from. If you're willing, can you tell me?" Noticing that something was wrong with the current situation, Roswitha quickly walked over and took Leon's arm, pretending that they were a very loving couple. She quickly explained to the vice principal, "My husband is not a member of the Noble Dragon Clan. He is just an ordinary member of our Silver Dragon Clan." Leon was also forced to lean tightly against Roswitha. He echoed a little nervously based on what she said. "That's right. I'm just a commoner." Vice Principal Wilson did not seem to doubt Leon's identity. He touched his beard and was pleased that they were able to raise the talented Noah. The remarkable union between the two of you has brought forth an exceptionally gifted young dragon. which is nothing short of a miracle. In short, St. Hiss Academy welcomes such children to enroll. Do you understand what I mean? The vice principal looked at them with a kind expression. However, there seemed to be other meanings in his words. You should have more children. The more, the merrier. Leon and Roswitha also saw the true thoughts floating behind the vice principal. They whispered in their hearts, "Principal, you have your thoughts written out." Vice Principal Wilson seems to be aware of his current attitude. He pretended to cough, trying to cover up his embarrassment. I believe that on the day Noah graduates, she will be able to lead the Dragon clan to defeat more dragon slayers. He clenched his fists excitedly and looked firmly at Leon, expressing his confidence in Noah's growth. Leon responded to Noah's encouragement with a smile, but felt uncomfortable inside. It doesn't feel great. Leon and Roswitha walked towards the other end of the hallway, while chatting with Vice Principal Wilson about other topics. However, what they didn't know was that Lars' father, who had just come out of the office, kept staring at their backs and remained silent. At this moment, Lars' father seemed to have come up with some bad idea. He led the other two fathers towards the other end of the corridor. He said with a malicious smile, "Let's go."
Hey! Have you heard about it? Lolo Bun has uploaded a new comic. I have already shared a new comic. The name of this comic is The Blonde-Haired Villain. In Girl Overlord novel, also longs for happiness. I have already shared the relevant content of this comic in this video. You can click on this video to learn about the comic story and character information. If you are interested, you can subscribe to my channel and wait for the sharing of new comic.